Hello everyone and welcome back to Race Room. And today we'll be doing one of the free-to-play competitions. You don't really need the car or the track for these. You can just kind of join in even if you didn't pay for it. So that's what we're going to do today. And here is just me doing some practice here. Now I'm just going to go over the layout of the track. So coming into this corner here, this is going on to the stretch. I don't have any assist on since that is the fastest way to get onto the leaderboards here. Now we're just going to slow down to third gear for this corner, down to second even, and just turn in, take the tightest line we possibly can. Then out of the corner, just going to upshift to third a tiny bit early. Now coming on to the second corner, we're just going to have to get hard onto the brakes without locking them up here. And just turn and keep up a little momentum as we can. Now this is just me learning the track. I haven't actually set a lap time, so I'm just learning how heavy the corners are and how heavy the car itself is. And what I did notice about this track is there's just a lot of corners where you have to heavily brake, but at the same time keep up as much momentum as possible. And here you can go flat out through this corner, but I didn't know at this time. So I'm just going to keep rolling the car around a little bit. Coming into here, you can go second into this corner, but then you wouldn't keep up enough momentum to snap the car back and take a good line for the corner after. And here it looks like a first gear corner, but it's second gear actually, just to keep up as much momentum as possible. And this car and track combination do feel pretty good here. Now the car has decent brakes if you know how to use them. And just going to turn and hit the apex as much as we can, and just be careful when getting back on the gas because there is no traction control and the car will snap back at you if it gets the opportunity to. Now another thing with this track is there are a few blind corners here and there where you just got to trust yourself to turn the car in and keep up as much momentum as possible, but they aren't that bad. And now for you will notice for the final two corners, I just kind of take them both as one corner and then shift down to second gear for the best exit possible here. And now for my first practice lap, basically, my lap time was a 1:57, which is not bad. That's 1,196 in the world here. And now we're just going to use second gear into corner one, and we got back on the power as fast as we can. Now we're going to brake at about the 150 meters and shift it down to second. Later on you'll see that I decided to use third into that corner since it was just slightly faster. Now coming down after that big corner here, it's a lot of downhill corners, so you just got to be wary on the brakes here and there. Just turn in, keep up as much momentum as possible. Now coming under the tunnel to this long right-hander, you can see I still kind of let off the gas a little bit for this corner, but you can pretty much take it flat out if you get your line correct. Try to hit the inside or the apex for both these corners at least, just using third gear to keep up good momentum and hopefully not crash the car. Down to second, just turn in again. Just finding the right speed for these corners is a little bit difficult, since you want to keep as much momentum as possible, but at the same time you want to be able to actually make the corner. And as we enter that corner a little bit deep here, and now onto what I like to call the rear stretch, we look behind us and see our ghost is actually a little bit away here, and we're actually over 1 second up on our lap time here. Just going to shift down to second, turn into this blind corner here, get on the power as early as possible, and we meet the outside of the grass here. Now I'm just going to keep the car turned in. Now just hit the apex here, shift down to second, and then back on the power as early as possible. And we may even crack the top 1,000 with that lap, hopefully. Race Room is really competitive. We cracked the top 1,100. Now I'm just going to fast forward here because I just want to show you how easy it is to ruin a lap time like this, since the track is so big and there's so many areas to make mistakes in. So you have to keep your clean lap for a full minute basically, or like a minute 30 seconds here. Now just coming here, you're going to notice something. I shift down to third. I get on the power slightly too early here. and that's our lap time invalidated. So hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. I'm going to try to only show validated lap times here in this video as to not waste anyone's time here. Now as we come back down to the front of the track after that invalidated lap, I'm going to show you a validated one that was slightly better here. So as you can see, we did use second gear again coming out of that final corner. And I feel like what a lot of people overlook is their final corner exits when it comes to time attack cars or in racing in general. Because unless you get that final corner right, you're basically finished your next lap already before it even started, since you don't have nearly enough speed. Now here I'm going to use third gear and just let the car roll and meet the outside apex and then turn in. And we're just going to keep up a lot of good power. And as you can see, as the corner ended, we are at the top of third gear, which is basically where you want to be. Now shift down to second here and just turn in. You can maybe take it in third, but I feel like you get a slower exit. Now going all the way flat out through this corner here, just using fourth to its full capabilities up into fifth. Now hard onto the brakes into third, just hit the inside of the apex. And then again turn in. Not too early on the gas here, and we get it perfectly. Now here we're just gonna, we braked a little bit early, but shift down into second gear and just turn in as best as we can. Now we're just going to try to build up as much momentum as we can going into this heavy braking zone, and we are about half a second up on our previous lap time here. Just trying to find time anywhere we can, and hopefully we can keep this lap validated as we come down to one of the final corners. And I do like this corner. It's a bit of a downhill section, but at the same time it's kind of tricky, and it's actually kind of fun just trying to send the car to the inside as far as you can, and then hitting these apex, only getting off the gas slightly just to let the car turn in down into second, then back on the power as early as we can. You see the car got a little bit slidey there, but now that we have our validated time in, that is now a 164 or 1064, which is pretty good, I say, since I'm on the pad and I really don't have that much force feedback here and there. But again, we're just going to try to keep up as much momentum as possible, as we've already improved again on our ghost from our previous lap. Just trying to keep up that momentum is just what seems to be getting all the time for us. As in, if we look in the mirror, we see our ghost is all the way back there. Now shift down to second, turn in, keeping up good momentum, and then just back on the power as early as you can. And that's just how you do it if you want to get onto the leaderboards, apparently. Just momentum, momentum, momentum. Now down into third, just turn in. Now I don't think you really have to hit that inside apex or this apex right here to be fast, but I think it does help slightly to get you a better exit, as we're actually 1 second, well over 1 second improvement on our ghost here. Now our last time was a 155, almost flat. Now we may be able to even get into the 154s if we can just find even more time here and there. As we look in the mirror again, our ghost is barely visible here, and all we have to do is bring it home basically. Now coming into this final corner, get on the brakes perfectly, as I'd say. Just turn in, maybe run a little bit wide here, and as we did run wide, and that's unfortunately, again, how easy it is to invalidate an amazing lap here. Now shift down to second. So the lap I'm about to show you is, this is about to be my best lap that I've done so far. Then I'll show you how it was on the leaderboards. So here our target to beat is a 155. So I decided to just come back a little bit of a day later here. And this is this is my best lap time. But there are a few things I could have done differently. Like coming into this first corner, I probably should have left it in third here, let the car roll in wide, as I did with this ghost, and then just get back on the power as early as I can. But I unfortunately didn't learn that until after watching the replay several times. Now getting back down into business here, I'm going to shift down to third, keep up a lot of momentum, meet the outside apex, and turn in. And look how much time we gained coming to the edge of the track limits there. Down, well, up into 5th, and we're almost a second improved on our lap time here. Gonna let him run deep into that corner here and then get back on the car as early as we can, and again meeting the very edge of the track limits, turning in, just using 4th gear as much as we can. Now we're actually going to stay in 4th gear just to not waste time shifting and turn in, and then again just turning it in as much as we can, keeping up that good momentum. Now using 3rd gear. Try not to shift too much if you don't have to, even if it's just short shifting. And then again, just going to use 2nd gear, get as much power down as we can and as fast as we can. Going to brake heavy here. Just turn in the car, just look blindly into the corner and power it through as much as you possibly can. And we are almost half a second up on our best lap time here. Now coming down to the blind corner, we basically take it perfectly. I say, well, at least the edge of the track limits, as I just turn in, get on the power as fast as I possibly can. Try not to run too wide. We're going to let off for this first chicane, then get back on the power for the second 2. Now shift down to 2nd, turn in, and we got away with getting on the power a little bit earlier than we used to. And that's over a half a second improvement on our lap time. And now that is barely, well, we haven't broke the top 1,000, but yeah, after 33 laps, I couldn't break the top 1,000. That just shows you how competitive this game really is. And I do say, if you have a computer, feel free to download RaceRoom. It pretty much runs on anything, even my computer, which is using very old parts here and there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and peace out.